Hello, welcome. This is Maniac Tim from Maniac Sports. Mm, First of all, I want to congratulate the Bears for beating the Detroit Lions. Today, they actually handed us a loss, and I'm not going to go ahead and blame no refs or anything like that because that's not what happened. It is what it is. Uh, Lions have some problems, basically on defense and execution on offense. They're uh, they're not able to score like they once were. Sadly, it's you wonder what's going on. I think their defense has been figured out as far as for what's this whole freaking thing that just everything just seems to be going wrong for them right now. Um, so far we had split the NFC North in games with the Packers and Bears, winning one and losing one to each team. Uh, I did get your answer, uh, Vince, although I haven't seen you very much on here because the Bears have actually not done good throughout the year. So I don't know why you finally post something when you guys did actually win. Uh, but hey, so Vikings win, of course. We'll go ahead and I'll add the I'll go ahead and add a comment or add some stuff. First of all, I'm going to post. Okay. All right. So if anybody wants to hop on, they can hop. Uh, but hey, so this is Maniac Sports. I'm Maniac Tim, of course. We'll look at this week's action. We have two games tomorrow yet to be played. Uh, of course, Tennessee. Uh, well, actually, if you want to look at it, it's today because after midnight. Tennessee Titans go and visit the Dolphins at Miami, and then of course Green Bay got the real tough one against Stopped, and of course that's a joke. Got a real tough one against the Giants. Uh, so in other news, the of course the Patriots beat the Steelers. The Texans lost handily to the Jets. Uh, Rams in overtime lost to the Ravens. Panthers once again fell to the Saints. Colts fell to the Bengals. Buccaneers beat Atlanta. Jacksonville lost to the Browns. Of course, our Lions lost to the Bears. And Seattle dropped another one to the 49ers. Uh, Vikings beat the Raiders by a score of 3-0. And then Broncos won again against the Chargers 24-7. Bills beat the Chiefs. Dallas went ahead and took it to the Eagles. So this we'll look at the standings too. A lot of things change. You know, we don't know what's going on with the Lions. We don't know exactly what's going to happen here. Uh, I don't know. The Lions are something that is they're weak, and I think they have been figured out in their defense. Of course, Chicago always plays us tough, whether they're a good team or a bad team. Justin Fields, uh, there's not much more that can be said. You know, some of those catches, some of those steals. I mean, I know, and I'm not going to blame the loss onto uh, one call it I thought should have been intentional grounding. Uh, not gonna go ahead and blame that loss onto that because you know Lions still had time to execute other deals and they didn't, and that's what it boils down to. The offense has been slacking of as of late too. Um, their inability to score in the third quarter has really hurt them. They have really hurt them. Also these things never get old when Dan Campbell just keeps going for it on fourth down. Some of these calls are ridiculous when you look at it. Uh, it's like I said, I'm not blaming this loss onto the that one penalty that was that I thought should have been. I'm not gonna do that. Uh, but so the Bears did beat us. In my opinion, they beat us square. They did what it took to get it done on the field, just like we did what it took to get it done in Detroit. So uh, our offensive line has has um, been hurting us of late too. So um, some of the play calling. Now, one of the things that I think you can't always just blame Aaron Glenn and the defense on. You can't blame Aaron Glenn's defense when I don't think they have upgraded the defense as much as they should have. And this is what I think more or less has cost us a lot of wins. Is the defense is not they didn't upgrade it, and I think that a lot of people figured out this defense, and that's what's hurting the Lions even more than what people think. So if they don't change it, if they don't upgrade it, uh, it's just going to keep on being this miserableness. Um, they got to get back to scoring, figuring it out. They got to do it. They gotta use this potent offense, and I mean, you had stuff like the where Jahmyr Gibbs goes ahead and drop that possibly sure touchdown. Uh, you had that happen. You had other things happen as well. Um, you know, the fumble snap. Our center was not. Ours. Our center was out, so it was a fumble snap. There was interceptions. There were, I think at times the defense rose to the occasion when it needed to, but it was still a little bit too little, too late. Um, and the Lions did not execute well enough on offense either. So that just really took a lot out of the equation. Um, but as we look forward, we got Denver next week. Primetime game. Denver is playing as well as can be expected right now. It's going to be, there's only 2 games left at Ford Field. Uh, so, you got the Broncos next weekend, and of course the last game of the year, which will be against Minnesota. Minnesota has not figured out everything yet. I think Minnesota is beatable. Uh, they only, Minnesota could only score 3 points this week, against the Raiders. Of course that was at LA. This has been a very weird year as far as on how the NFL has set us up, where we've played a lot of our division games at the end of the season. I'm not saying that was to hurt us. I'm not yelling about that, because it's just the way that things worked out. Uh, and maybe it might have even been to help us, because if you look at the way we were last year, we were stronger last year than we were at the beginning of the year. So maybe that's why they stacked up the division games more towards the end of the year than the beginning of the year. Um, so that's one way to look at it. We're going to go ahead and we will look at the standings, of course. Of course, Minnesota moves one spot closer to us as far as for the NFC North by winning when we lost. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen. So. Okay, so yeah, as you see, this is all, there's the games that were played, and Thursday night game, of course, that's like old news now, where the Patriots went ahead and actually beat the Steelers once again. Um, Texans dropped one to the Jets. Uh, Rams lost in overtime, as I said before, to the Ravens. Um, Panthers dropped one to the Saints. Colts lost to the Bengals. Buccaneers beat the Falcons. And Jaguars lost to the Browns. Chicago, of course, beat the Lions. Seattle dropped one to the 49ers. Vikings beat the Raiders barely. And, of course, Broncos beat the Chargers. And the Bills beat the Chiefs, with the Eagles losing their third game of the year right now to Dallas. So Dallas is getting some credibility. We're going to go with the standings. Okay, of course, first it's going to be the AFC. Now, who knows what's going to happen, because Dolphins ain't played yet this week. But Dolphins, right now, they're still in a commanding lead over the AFC East, 9-3. Bills 7-6. Just over. Jets are 5-8, but the Patriots are 3-10. Chiefs are 8-5. Broncos are 7-6. Chargers are 5-8, with the Raiders being 5-8. Ravens are of course 10-3, so they got that bye or the first round bye kind of sold up right now, you know. But of course, the what happens with the Dolphins that can affect that too. Uh, the Browns are 8-5. Steelers are 7-6. The Bengals being 7-6. And that's of course the AFC North. And then of course last you have the Jaguars at 8-5. Colts are at 7-6. Uh, Texans are at 7-6, and with the Titans being 4-8. Those are that's it for the NFC or the AFC standings. We'll look at the NFC standings, which Eagles are 3-10 with Dallas being 3. Or Eagles are 10-3. Excuse me, I had that backwards. Dallas 10-3. New York, of course, they ain't played yet, but they played Green Bay, so I don't see them winning. And with they're 4-9. Commanders are of course 4-9. It's the AFC East. Uh, San Francisco 49ers are of course 10-3. Rams are 6-7. Uh, Seahawks are 6-7. Cardinals are 3-10. Lions are 9-4 now. Vikings, so they're still 2 games ahead of the Vikings. Vikings are 7-6. Packers are 6-6. And Bears are 5-8. And that's the NFC North. NFC South, of course, the Buccaneers are 6-7, with Atlanta 6-7, Saints are 6-7, and that's all now there, with the Panthers being 1-12. So it's pretty apparent that the Bears will probably get the #1 draft pick no matter what. I don't see any way this is not going to happen, because the Panthers are just they're trash. I mean, it's just they are. They're not. By any means do I see them being able to uh, actually win any more games. Green Bay has probably the easiest schedule left if you look at it. Uh, you know, Lions, I think they got a pretty tough schedule. Still, it's in their hands. It's the Lions schedule. It's we have of course Broncos. Then you got Minnesota. Dallas, Minnesota and Minnesota will be hard. I mean, all these games are hard. They're all hard games. They're not games that's so. If the Lions can go ahead and win the NFC North, all right, they're going to need to really start producing right now. You know, they they got to figure out a way to win. They got to get back on that winning streak, because something's missing. I mean, it would be nice if Gardner Johnson could go ahead and come back. You know, that would be real nice. It's just there's so much stuff that's going on, and they got to be able to put together a way to win. Uh, there's not a lot going on right now, so I'm probably gonna end the stream now. Thank you guys for coming on. I'll try to do more this week. This is Maniac Tim with Maniac Sports. Goodbye.